Well, well, well. I was wondering when you would come to visit. Are you going to show yourself? Or will you keep hiding just around the corner of my glass cage? Did you think that would keep you safe from my gaze? Hide you from me? I picked up on your scent the second you entered this wing. It brings up such complex feelings that are both inspiring and vexing. It is intoxicating. It is a scent I would recognize anywhere. My, look at you. How you have grown, detective. That is what they call you now, isn't it? After your recent promotion. I suppose congratulations are in order. I hear the chief has a new favourite now. I do hope you aren't letting it get to your head. After all, pride is a sin. Oh, you look at me with such scorn. You break my heart, you really do. Can we please move on from this stoic personality that you have adopted in your new station as detective? I don't much like it. No, I much preferred you when you were a bumbling rookie eager to make your mark. Eager to climb all the way to the top. Eager to shake every hand and have every ear be your aid. The rookie whose hatred of injustice was dwarfed only by their hatred of monotony, who saw no greater waste of their talents than spending their days as a meter maid or performing routine traffic stops. And now it seems you have everything you ever wished for. A little birdie told me that you have been assigned to major crimes, taking down the worst of the worst. Drug dealers, burglary rings, serial killers. Now I do so hate gossip, as you know, but that does sound like an awfully lofty station for a rookie with barely any time on the force. Though I suppose it's a fitting position for the one who brought down the infamous Black Book Butcher. Wouldn't you agree? Is that why you're here, detective? To show off your shiny new badge, your fancy new title, like a peacock strutting before an adoring mate? Or perhaps you are just here to gloat, to rub it in my face that you were the one that brought me down. My, how stoic. And you puff out your chest with such confidence, it almost borders on arrogance. One has to wonder, is this some ugly new development in your personality, one that I don't much like? Or is it perhaps something different? You see, everything about your demeanour rings a distant bell. A bell from days past. Enhanced interrogation training, was it? Are you perhaps trying to establish some form of power dynamic in our little relationship? To display some leverage, to make me bow to your every whim and answer your every question like a good little boy. You little fool. You, in your arrogance, have forgotten who you are speaking to. That once, in days past, we played from the same notebook. You will find that your tactics are entirely ineffective against a fellow man of the law. My dear, you say such hurtful things. But once a man of the law, always a man of the law. And I would argue that I have not strayed from my path, thank you very much. After all, even when we were at odds, we both pursued justice. Both punished the guilty. We just developed different methods. And whilst mine may be more base, one cannot argue on their effectiveness. And there is that ugly word, serial killer. And that, detective, is perhaps the single most damaging phrase you could call me. For to call me a serial killer, you must classify my unfortunates as victims. And victims implies innocence. And I assure you, there was nothing innocent about the monsters that wound up between the pages of my little black book. Of course you disagree. Hardly surprising. For if you and your justice system had your way, they would still be free to commit many more atrocities whilst you scramble for a reason to convict. My methods are simpler, cleaner, and require far less apologizing to the families of victims. Who's the monster now, detective? How many, just think, how many grieving widows and orphaned children were left in the wake of just some of the men that your precinct failed to catch? And how many more would have existed if not for me? Though I doubt that matters to your precinct, does it? Because it doesn't matter that we won if I broke the rules to do it. But I know there's no convincing you. I tried, and for my efforts I wound up here. Branded the Black Book Butcher. I do detest that name, for I am not a butcher. I am a confessor, a sin eater. I consume the sins of others, rip it from their flesh and cast it into my black book so that they may return to the Lord pure. I burden my soul with the weight of their sins, keeping them in my black book, my book of the damned. I do not exact revenge, detective, for it is written, as the Lord says, it is mine to avenge. I will repay. In due time their foot will slip. Their day of disaster is near, and their doom rushes upon them. No, I do not pass judgment, for they have been forgiven by the Lord already. But simply because they have been forgiven for whatever sin they may commit does not give them free rein to keep committing sin. I return them to the Lord, pure and unsullied, and absorb that sin, that pain, into my own soul. It's a wonder you ever caught me, detective, when you know so little about me. But then again, we both know the real reason how you caught me, don't we? You cheated. I left clues for the precinct, for the detectives, but you, my special little rookie, I gave you a glimpse behind the curtain. I saw such promise in you, such potential. And what did you do? You took my offer, you took my secrets, you took my journal, and you ran. You ran fast, and you ran far. You ran as quick as your little legs could carry you all the way back to your precinct, with the intention of turning over the journal to the detectives to assist in my capture, like a good little rookie should do. Except you didn't do that, did you? You kept my book, used it to give yourself an edge over the competition, used it to be the first to decipher my clues, to carve a name for yourself and impress both the other detectives and the chief of police. I must confess, at first I did not quite understand what you were up to, but when I realized, I loved you for it, cherished the irony of it, that in the end, we both broke the rules. I broke the rules to your precinct's game, and you broke the rules to mine. And predictably, whilst I was strung up for my transgressions, you were made detective. Your story in the paper, the hero cop, admired and revered, and now trusted with such burdens. I knew you'd be back, and you didn't disappoint, because here you are, standing right in front of me, projecting such confidence, such power. But I see the truth, detective. Something's different about you. You're afraid. You've encountered someone like me, meticulous, methodical, dangerous, and all eyes are on you to bring them in. After all, this should be a trifle for the hero cop who brought down the Black Book Butcher. But this time, you don't have a cheat sheet to help you. And you're lost. You are drowning in your own incompetence, and you know it. And you know it's only a matter of time before your colleagues see it too. How desperate you must be to come to me for help. Oh, how it must eat you up inside. It is truly delicious. But I have to ask. Not that I'm not fond of you or anything, but why should I help you? This one is better than me. No, my dear, you are incorrect. There is no better, only different. I assure you that if it were not for your obvious advantage, I would never have been caught. And you would still be helping old ladies cross the street. Better. Great joke. You are trying to vex me, detective. You are trying to appeal to some perceived superiority complex that you think I hold. But I assure you, nothing like that exists for me. Do you have anything else up your sleeve? Oh, come now, detective. Surely you did not travel all the way here just to give one half-hearted attempt at getting me on board. You can tell I'm uninterested. Detective, that's not... where are you going? Detective. Detective. Wait. I will help you, detective. But I will need a few things from you first. I will need the case file in its entirety, everything you have so far down to the most insignificant piece of paper you can find down the back of the filing cabinet it is stored in. Secondly, the journalist who gave this unfortunate their name. I will need full access to their notes that they took when constructing this article, as well as a list of witnesses and a map of where they are currently situated at their home addresses. And lastly, I will work only in face-to-face interviews with you, detective. No phone calls, no dial-in internet video talks, no letters. If you want my help, then you must look into my eyes and ask for it. Do this, and you will catch your killer. And one more thing. I believe you have something of mine, detective. A certain black book. I would like it back. Now, run along, my dear. Bring me what I need, and we shall get to work. And detective, it really is good to see you again.